What about what's important to me? Have you considered that?
Well, what? Yeah, you obviously know something that I'm like missing. So.
Well, you said it, Aaron, so you shouldn't be missing it. And it's a huge thing that you said that you clearly are missing.
I'm sorry, but Kaylor is her own worst enemy. She was quick to forgive Aaron without actually holding his feet to the fire and finding out everything that happened in Casa. So she can't blame Daniela to say, why didn't you tell me that Aaron made a comment about the shower? That's not Daniela's place to explain to you what happened. And Miguel is always going to be Miguel. He told us he was coming to win. And so the idea that he broke up with Sierra, am I surprised? No, that I saw that coming. And then I don't like the messy questions. I know there was this question about Dare being in Odell Beckham's thingy. Do they not only find out about who's in Casa or who's coming to Casa once they've been selected for Casa? I don't get it. I didn't get to see the tweets of her comments. I wish someone would send one to me so that I could see. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island USA, Season 6, Episode 21. I really need an explanation. How did we go from Serena cursing out the whole villa to suddenly she's calm and she's talking to Dare? Make that make sense. If you're going to edit it in a way that makes us understand what's going on. I understand the guys don't feel Serena at all. Serena has lost the guys completely because they were saying they were Team Dare even when they were trying to console Cordell, because they took Cordell up and they had a conversation with him. Because I personally don't get how Cordell could even see a future with this girl, because if that were my brother, my father, my family member, I would feel some type of way. She has been physically abusive when she slapped the face of Eggs in his face. She's been verbally abusive because she's cursed him out every single way. She's been emotionally abusive. So I don't get how someone can see a future with that sort of relationship when she's saying this is tame. In the real world should actually be worse. Who wants to put up with that? So what will she do in the real world? Actually slap him across the face? I don't get it. She's very calm when she's talking to Dare, but when it's Cordell, she kicks off and she's yelling and screaming and shouting. The boys don't feel her. And I think even if Cordell gets back with her, nobody will they'll support him because he's their friend, but I don't think they'll support him because they like Serena. Serena has lost a lot of people by alienating them. And the fact that, I remember someone in the comments wrote about this. These girls are afraid of Miguel. Because Miguel will tell them the truth about themselves. Because he's already said he's an F-boy. And so he doesn't care who he impresses or he loses. Leah herself knows for a fact that he's the one who told her about the 10%. But he didn't say he's feeling Serena 90%. He said no. What the girl saw was only 10% of what Cordell and Dare's connection was about. There's a whole 90% which included him telling her that when I bring you back to the villa, I want to continue to explore my connection with you and my connection with Serena. And so I don't get how Leah can say something and then blame it on Cordell. This is why these girls like dating younger boys, because they can manipulate them to do and say whatever they want them to do. I don't get it. And for Cordell to sit down with Serena and be saying to her, oh, I still want you. You still want what? You still want more abuse? I'm sorry, but that's not it. Because just imagine, Cordell, the same thing had happened. Let's say Serena had done this with a guy. Cordell, when Serena walks in, he curses her out. Hey, she makes him breakfast and he slaps it into her chest. She shouts, she screams, she yells, she does everything. People would be writing to Peacock to say we need to kick him off the show. But it's okay for Serena to still be there on the show and kick a tantrum, throw a fit and then come back and sit down, and then throw a fit and come back and sit down. Why? Why is that acceptable? Why is the double standard acceptable? If we're going to hold people accountable, let's hold people accountable irregardless of whether they're male or female. Because Serena, before Cordell apologizes, she needs to apologize. She's done a lot. Yes, she's tried to apologize to Dare. I didn't quite get the apology, but she still needs to apologize to Cordell. She still needs to apologize to everybody in the villa that she's verbally abused by yelling and screaming and shouting at them. Just because you're having a terrible day doesn't mean the rest of the villa should have a terrible day. Doesn't mean everybody else should be cowering because you're upset. I don't get it. Oh, I wanted you to come back and say it's me. I know someone in the comments said, oh, Serena has moved with respect. She's moved with respect, but she's tried to explore connections. And every time she's realized that the guy is not prioritizing her, she's run back to Cordell because she knows with Cordell she'll always be number one. It's not that she hasn't explored connections. Someone was saying, oh, she didn't kiss Nigel. Yes, she didn't kiss Nigel. I'm sorry I said she kissed everyone. But still, at the end of the day, she was interested in Nigel until Nigel said his number one were Leah and Janea. Kenny said the same thing. So she went on the date because she was invited on the date. But she must have seen that he wasn't all in on her. This is why she ran back, because she knew that if his type walks into the villa, he's going to leave her. So she ran back to Cordell. So for us to say, oh no, Cordell, yes, he made out with someone in bed. Yes, he did whatever he did. But she is wrong as well. She needs to take responsibility for her actions and the words that came out of her mouth. Seriously, I'm so confused. I might as well not have watched, because I don't get Serena saying to Cordell, you chose to bring this girl so that I can be single. And it's like, but you said you wanted to be single. Cordell has nothing to do with you choosing to be single. You said you wanted to be single because you felt disrespected. So why are you blaming this on Cordell? I do not buy it. Anyway, you have Janea speak to Kenny. Now I understand why these girls like dating young boys, so that they can manipulate them. Because for her to say, let me speak first, so that she can sort of smooth him, calm him or pacify him by apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry about the way I behaved. I understand we'd only been together for 2 days, blah, blah. And it's Janea, please stop belittling yourself. Stop forcing yourself into situations that are not for you. This is why you keep taking L's, because you keep trying to couple up with these small boys, as I've said before, and they end up abusing you, and then you start crying and saying, I'm tired of taking L's. When you are putting yourself in situations where you have to take an L, yes, he's decided to couple up with you or put more of his effort in you and leave Catherine alone, but it's like, what happens next? What happens next? When you leave the villa and you're in the real world, how long do you think this relationship will last? How long? How long do you think you can continue to manipulate him to get what you want? I don't get it. I wish all the girls were dealing with someone like Miguel, because Miguel has a backbone and Miguel doesn't care, because he spoke to Leah and you could tell Leah understands that he's only keeping her around just because he knows that's his safety blanket, that's his only opportunity to stay in the villa. Because he said, I still care about you, I feel I'm more invested in you than Sierra, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why is she eating this up? Because she knows she has no other option. I know they said Cassie and Harrison are coming in, and it's like, why are they coming in? I don't get why they're coming in. They wish they had brought 2 people that haven't been to the villa before, 2 people with potential of actually having an emotional connection with someone. But hey, I digress. I like the fact that Cordell and Miguel actually held Serena's feet to the fire and told her, so what did you want us to do? What did you want us to do, Sherlock Holmes? You were giving him a hard time. You were on and off, on and off, on and off. He found someone who made him happy. So you wanted us to tell him, don't be happy because Serena is still at the villa. Then she looked like a fool because she couldn't argue with that. She started laughing. Oh, but you two were encouraging it. But no, she had smoke for Cordell because she knew she could manipulate him. When Miguel and Kendall came back at her, she pacified herself. She stopped screaming and shouting. And it's like, so you've got Vim for Cordell. It makes sense because you're in a couple with him. But when you're faced by people that are not intimidated by you, you back down and you're a little puppy. Make that make sense? I don't get it. And Kendall is playing all sides of the street. He is worried about what will keep him safe in the villa. Because when the girls were getting ready for bed, he actually saw there and he said, oh, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. Are you okay? And she was crying to say, I feel as though he's now more invested in Serena. And I personally don't feel like Cordell should have been forced into, securing a connection with someone or forced into sort of making a decision as to who he was going to pursue. He shouldn't be going back to Serena as far as I'm concerned. I think he should continue there. If there is not it for him, then he can wait until a bombshell comes in or until he leaves the villa. But he shouldn't be going back because of how abusive she was. I don't think that's the right move, but hey, that's just me. Aaron and Kaylor have already moved on. They're busy making out in the shower room. They're busy, going to soul ties and doing whatever they're doing. I don't get it. I don't get how she couldn't hold him accountable for his actions during Casa, but maybe that's just me. Everybody else is in a good mood, so everybody goes off to bed. So in the morning, the boys are still teasing Serena because you have Aaron teasing Serena that, oh, you're smiling today. That's good. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I've gone off Serena because I personally hate tantrums and I didn't like the way she treated Cordell. And so as much as I support my people on this one, it's a pass and it's very rare. If you've been on my channel, you know that I might criticize, but I will never pass on anyone. But hey, it is what it is. You have Aaron have a conversation with his other, couple with his other connection, Rob, to say he's thinking of asking, Kaylor to be his girlfriend. And it's like, we've been hearing about this. So he's saying he wants to wait a couple of days. I think he's trying to buy time until after movie night. That way, once things blow over from movie night, then he can ask her to be his girlfriend, because he doesn't want to ask her to be his girlfriend and then she breaks up with him. So I think he's trying to wait to see if there's a movie night. Once the movie night comes and goes and they've been over the storm, then he'll ask her to be his girlfriend. And I'm going to stick on that. You have, Miguel have a conversation with Sierra and sort of tell her that he's decided to go with Leah. Do I think it's because he's got a more stronger connection with Leah? No. When he walked into the villa, he said that I want to win this whole thing. And he knows his chances of staying in the villa are higher with Leah than they are with Sierra. So he's going to do what's in his best interest. Because he said to her, once we leave the villa, I hope we can continue to be friends. And it's like, Miguel, I don't see you being just friends with a girl. I don't see you just being friends with a girl. She was very cordial. She was very understanding, Sierra, and she's saying she wants to pursue someone who's interested in her. So I worry for Lev. Because now she's going to be vulnerable, because it seems Kane might be interested in Sierra. And if he is, they might be the first couple voted out if they need to dump someone. But at the end of the day, Liv is going to be vulnerable. Maybe her countryman, Harrison, will come and couple up with her. But it is what it is. And it was nice to see that the other Casa girls were consoling her and comforting her. This is why I say it's nice that the boys brought more than just one girl, because it would have been difficult for just one girl to cope with the way the villa was in uproar. So Aaron has a conversation with Kaylor. I personally am yet to hear them say something that makes me believe that these people are strongly connected and they will have a relationship that will work in the real world. After Zita and Timmy, I'm not convinced by anyone. It takes a lot for me to be convinced. I have to look at body language. And at the moment, no couple in the villa has me convinced that they really like each other romantically. I think the boys might have liked the Casa girls more than they actually liked the villa girls, but they were so intimidated when they came back and they were frazzled because they're younger than the girls. They ended up just, cowering with their tails between their legs and coming back home. You have Cordell have a conversation with Dea, and Dea sort of saying, I want you to tell me, do you still feel me, or are we over? If we're over, let me know so that I can move on, because there's no point in me continuing to put effort in you if you are all for Serena. And he's saying, well, I want us to continue to pursue it. And yet in his confessional, he says, I want Serena. And it's like, seriously, did we just watch the same thing? What is it about it? Was he turned on by her screaming and shouting around the villa? What exactly about her did he see that he would say, okay, this is good for me, I want to continue with this? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, because it's not making sense to me. And then Janae is coming across as desperate. She's coming across as desperate because of the fact that she dived into bed with Kenny in the morning after Catherine had left the bed, and then now they're sitting out having a conversation, and Kenny's trying to be respectful, so he's keeping a space between him and her, and she's like, oh, do I bite? Come closer to me. And it's like, why do you have to appear as though you're begging this guy to couple up with you? It's not worth the hassle. It really is not. People were liking you because of the person that you were being. Now you're contorting yourself to sort of suit the guy you're trying to sort of connect with. Doesn't make sense. Stand in your truth, and if he likes you, he'll like you. If he doesn't like you, it's okay. You can keep it moving. You will find someone eventually who will like the person that you are. You don't need to force yourself onto someone. Anyway, Catherine receives a text message to say that the Islanders will be playing a game to see what America thinks about them. The Islanders played the challenge. I think it was a cute challenge in the sense that we've already passed the passing food challenge. Nothing can ever beat that. Everyone, if you've been here, you know that's my worst. I hate that challenge with a passion. Anyway, so in this challenge, it's sort of them reading people's tweets and sort of getting an idea of what's going on in the real world. I didn't write down who the Islanders would pick. I just wrote down who the answers were for. Anyway, Anyway, so first up was Janaea. Janaea's questions. Well, you had to ask 2 questions and guess who the person they were for. And the first one was, honestly, Nicole rubs me the wrong way, and I want her out. Does she rub? Yeah, I think Nicole. She came in with Andrea. She looked amazing. And then when Andrea was voted out, she realized that in order to stay in the villa, she needed to be friends with people. And I think she's overdoing it, because even like when Kaylor was freaking out and Liv was trying to pacify her, you could see that she was trying to insert herself in that sort of coupling, because she knows if she aligns herself with someone, then the chances of the girls voting her out and sending her home are highly unlikely. The next one was not Catherine trying to last minute get in the villa by talking to Kenny. I don't even remember her until they showed the clip of them. And Kenny sort of implied that this might be true, because he said, yeah, now that it's been said, I think it could be true. And it's like, why would you bring her then if you didn't have a connection with her? Why? So are you saying that you didn't really value your connection with Janaea, and so you were just looking for anything or something to test it against? Make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. Next up was Kaylor. Next up was Nicole and Kendall, and theirs was Kaylor asked Aaron to show you his handshake with Daniela. And it's like, oh my God, people are messy, because he has a handshake with Kaylor. So if he's created another one with Daniela, is it his thing that he uses to seduce girls, or is it because he actually feels like there's a connection there? Make it make sense. I don't trust Aaron. I think he still has something for Daniela. The next one was, it's amazing how Rob uses his passive voice and a bit of eye contact, and the girls think he's an onion waiting to be peeled. Embarrassing. Yeah, I think Rob tries to make himself appear as though he's quite a deep person, when we all know he and Leah at one point shared one brain cell. So I'm not buying whatever he's selling. I like the bit of him that I've seen with Daniela. I don't want to knock it. I actually think he's been amazing with Daniela, but otherwise, when he was connected with Andrea, even with Lev and with Leah, he was very boring. It was too sort of well, it was too performative, in my opinion. It was too performative. And I think this time we actually get to see the real him. Next up was Leah. Kendall gives me the biggest ick. Get this man off my screen. Yeah, Kendall can be a bit too much. I didn't like how he treated Hannah. I really didn't, because Hannah didn't deserve to go home. I think Hannah should have stayed up until Casa and found her person, but he was very terrible to her, in the sense that he left her for somebody else and left her hanging after kicking off when she tried to explore a connection. So that would have been my beef with him. Leah, I can't stand Dare, especially after seeing those tweets about how she was in Odell Beckham Jr.'s comments. She came to the villa with a plan, and Cordell's dumbass fell for it, throwing away the morals he claimed. Whether or not he threw away the morals, he found something that he liked. It's up to him to investigate to see whether it's true or not. All he has to do is to go on social media and ask people to send him the links, and he'll be able to see the clips and see whether it's actually true or whether it's a fake thing. If he wants to pursue with her, if he feels like there's something there, then amazing. If he doesn't, that's still okay. But at the end of the day, it's just an opinion from one person. I feel like she's good for him, whether or not she's performative. If that's the case, then she's an actress. She needs to go to Hollywood. And then I'm going to stick with that. And then Liv and Kane, theirs was Janae is the baddest to ever step foot on Love Island. She doesn't deserve this. Oh my God, I can treat her right. I think Janae, the first part we saw of her was amazing. I think now she's become performative. I think she's trying to contort herself to any guy that sort of shows an interest in her, because she's tired of taking L's. Otherwise, I wish she would just go back to the Janae that we fell in love with, and she would be amazing. And then Liv and Kaylor, their second one was the way Aaron passed Daniela over to Rob like she was an object. How embarrassing. And what's sad is that she'll go for it. Well, she wants to be in the villa. She will do whatever it takes to be in the villa. It's not like she's sort of giving Rob her body. If she had had sex with Rob or was gyrating on Rob, then I would say, oh no, that's a bit too much. But at the end of the day, the truth will come out at some point, whether in the villa or after they leave the villa. The truth of what actually transpired in regards to that connection to end and the new one to start, we will all find out. And Sierra and Miguel, theirs was Leah on Love Island USA is too toxic, which is true. Not a girl's girl. Criticizes male vulnerability. Dramatizes people's words to get others on her side. Has a sense of entitlement that the list goes on. Yeah, she's not a girl's girl when it comes to people like Janea. She's a girl's girl when it comes to people like Serena, because she and Serena are aligned and they're spirit animals and they sort of get along. But with Janea, she hasn't been the best friend. I think what they're saying in regards to her sort of dramatizing male vulnerability is Rob going into fetal position and crying and how she criticized him for that. So that I get. And then the next one was, I don't understand what Cordell has done wrong. Serena barely gave him any reassurance and security and constantly embarrassed him. She was free to drop him many times, but he can't explore a connection. Please be for real. And for Serena to try and say, oh no, I didn't say you shouldn't. Please just keep quiet. You don't need to justify yourself. People have already formed their opinions. Whatever you say, no one is buying it. So you might as well just keep it moving and just hope for the best, because at this point, no one is going to change their opinion about you. People are set in their ways. People have seen what they've seen. And so for you to try and convince us is a bit too late. And then the next one was, Kendall is a king. What do I think? Kendall is a master manipulator. He's managed to suss out how he can survive in the villa. He in order to be popular with the other islanders, he's friends with both the Casa girls and the OG girls, so they will both vote for him in the event that he needs a vote. So he's smart in that way. And then Aaron. So this was Aaron. His second one was, I'm sorry Cordell did what in bed with whom? Damn Casa going crazy. Cordell is not the only person who did anything. At the end of the day, I don't get what the producers are trying to do. They're trying to be very messy. Why didn't they bring up the stuff about Aaron and Daniela in bed? Was it a bit too much because they'd already exposed, the switcheroo? Make that make sense? Dare and Cordell. Nicole really the most underrated girl in the house. Do I think so? I don't know. When she came in smoking, and then she's just phased off. I don't even know why she decided to sort of stay with Kendall, because Kendall, for me, I think dimmed her light. I think if she had gone with someone like Miguel, but I think she realized that Miguel was just there for a good time, so she decided to stick with someone who she thought was there for a good reason. And then their next one was, Liv is a mean girl. Not sure many have caught that with all her loudmouth support of the girls, she can go home too. I love Liv. I love her character. I love how she stands by her word. I love how she's a ride or die, and she's very supportive of her friends. If they're right, she will support them. If they're wrong, she will pull them aside and have a conversation, or she will address it in front of everyone, as she did with Leah. So that's her for me. Daniela, it was, I'm sorry, but Aaron is cute. Yeah, he's cute, but he's messy. Their next one was, Jenna Queen, Kenny is not your man. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Is not your man. Which is the truth, though. She was with the guy for 2 days, and she made it seem like she had been with him for 4 weeks. Why? She can't blame all her L's on him. She can't put all her trauma on him. What has he done? He's just looking for love, just like the rest of them. And Kenny and Catherine, their first one was, Miguel is the only man in the villa I support, which I totally support as well, because he stands on his truth. He said who he is when he walked in, and he stood on that. He stands on his business and he doesn't care, and the girls actually know it, so they leave him alone. At least he's blunt about getting to know multiple women. He's not putting a fake front like Aaron or Cordell, which is, yeah, I guess. Aaron and Cordell don't have the backbone. They're easily sort of dimmed down, or they're easily sort of swayed by people's opinions. They need to have their own opinion, and they need to be able to stand in their truth, as far as I'm concerned. And the last one for Kenny and Catherine was, I feel bad for Kaylor because they didn't even show the worst of it. And it's like, this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing, because Kayla is about to kick off. At the end of the day, Kayla is her own worst enemy, in the sense that she didn't even investigate what actually happened in Casa. Instead, she just heard what she wanted to hear from Aaron and kept it moving. The islanders come back from the challenge, and everyone is feeling some type of way, because obviously there were things that were said during the challenge that affected people differently. Kayla is worried because she's just found out that apparently there was more to the Aaron situation than she actually knew about. And so she's worried that what else did she not find out about? And we all know that Aaron was really smitten with Daniela. And I'm not surprised really, because the girls from Casas actually said, Rob was all into them until Aaron last minute heard, Kayla shouting, F Aaron, and then he switched. And the moment he switched, Rob switched as well, and he went for Daniela. And he's very protective of Daniela, Rob, I've noticed. And so, though I think if Kaylor pulls Rob for anything, she'll find out anything. I don't think so, because Rob is very protective of Daniela. I don't know whether he's protective because he knows his friend really likes her and is just using Kaylor to win the show, or whether he likes her because he really romantically feels something there. So Kaylor was being pacified by the girls to say, it is what it is. You will find out eventually what happened, but try not to let it stress you out, because the only thing that we know of is the fact that he said something about the shower. And we all know Aaron has already taken a shower with Kaylor, so I wouldn't be surprised if you wanted to take a shower with Daniela. You have, Cordell sitting down with Dea to have a conversation, and Dea is sort of trying to clarify what happened in regards to the comment about her sort of commenting on Odell Beckham Jr.'s post. And she's saying the only way I commented was because it was on my boyfriend's post, so that's how she commented. And it's like, well, people, you don't know social media detectives. They will find it and they will post it. At the end of the day, I don't know how she would have found out that Odell is going to be there. And what was she supposed to do? Is she trying to be a family member to Odell, or is she trying to get connected to Odell? Because I don't think once she's dated Cordell, the brother would date her. So that really doesn't make sense to me. I didn't understand it. You have Liv crying because she's been told, she's too in your face. And I think Liv is a warrior. She stands by her friends in their time of need, but she's also not afraid to sort of hold her friend's feet to the fire like she did with Leah when Leah was lying. So she is a friend in need, and she's also a friend you go to for constructive feedback. So I don't get the comment that, maybe at times she needs to sort of pace herself, but she's always got an opinion about something and she's not afraid to let her opinion be known. She's never really been disrespectful, though. She's been brutally honest, but she's never been disrespectful. So I have to give her credit for that. You have Rob sitting at the deck with Daniela. Rob is protective, as I said, of Daniela. He seems to really like her. He seems to be very attentive. Way more attentive than he was to Leah or Andrea when he was dating them, when they were connecting. So I think he really likes her. As I said before, I don't know whether he likes her because romantically he feels something there, or he really likes her because he thinks, he's looking after his friend's girl or something like that. I don't get it, but I'm very curious as to what it is about her that he really likes. But he's always been compassionate with her. He's empathetic with her. He's always trying to make sure she's good. Even when they were doing the challenge, he was looking after her and making sure that she wasn't really carrying the weight. When she was crying about one of the challenge questions, he sort of consoled her. So I really like that for Daniela, and I hope Rob is serious about her and keeps her. If he's going to get to the end, I hope he rides it out to the end with her, even if there's nothing romantic there. She deserves to stay in. I think of all the Casa girls, she's the only one who's going to survive because she's coupled up with Rob. So Kaylor then pulls Daniela for a chat, and it's like, I don't get the girls blaming Daniela. It's not Daniela's fault, or it's not Daniela's place to explain what happened in the villa or in Casa. It's Aaron's place. He is the one who owes Kaylor the truth. So the idea that the girls would be upset, or the idea that Liv would say, oh, why didn't she tell you about him commenting about the shower? It's like, please. That's not her place. That's not her space. Aaron is the one who owes her loyalty. Aaron is the one who owes her an explanation. If she wants anything, she needs to go and speak to Aaron. There's no point in holding this young lady's feet to the fire. And I give Aaron credit for sticking up for himself when Kaylor was trying to back him into a corner. Is he right? No, but at least he's showing some sort of a backbone, because the boys have been railroaded by the girls. So the fact that even when he sat with her by the fire pit, he was standing his ground, I give him credit for that. And then Serena was excited. I think she thought Cordell had broken things off with Dea, and so she was trying to brag to say, oh, so how are things going? How are your chats? We've seen you screaming and shouting. We haven't seen you have a decent conversation with Dea outside of you interrogating her. So tell me, how are we getting to you wanting to find out about the connection? You were trying to rub the fact that Cordell has come back to you. And so when she found out that actually Cordell is still talking to Dea, she was upset. And it's like, why are you upset? He brought her to the villa for a reason. He told her he wanted to continue to get to know her. So if he wanted to break things off, he would have done just like everybody else is doing, like Miguel has done, or like it seems Kenny's about to do. So please sit down somewhere and wait your turn. If he really wants you, he'll come for you. If he doesn't come for you, that means he never really wanted you. So it is what it is. And I don't get, why you're so excited, because you don't deserve Cordell. Whether or not he was disrespectful, you were worse. That's my opinion, and I'll stick to it. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 20. Bye guys.